Was there ever a situation in Leimert Park where like, there's a collective group to actually come together to try and buy a piece of property in Leimert Park?
No. We wasn't that together. It's always a different objective, and we never could work together.
Oh, no. In fact, they had restrictive covenants. There are restrictive covenants that said Mr. Crenshaw and Mr. Leimert had attached covenants to their deeds of trust saying that no person of African or Oriental ancestry shall stay overnight in this domicile except as a domestic. We have copies of those around.
You know, we've all are renters of this one property, you know, owned, you know, by an individual, owns multiple properties, and there's no black ownership around. So, you know, we've invested heavily in our businesses and even the property and the upkeep, just so our presence can attract people to appreciate what our skill set brings to this neighborhood. Once our leases are up, that goes away. And anybody can come in after that and contribute to what they think is right as a business. And they may not be black. So seeing this from black excellence come from these tenants is something that you rarely see within one property these days.
After I moved here, I was paying rent from a landlord, your same landlord, trying to charge us the taxes as well as the rent.
Right. So how does it feel to come together with the brothers to actually purchase this?
Long overdue.
So how does it feel to see, you know, Tony, myself, and Soul Folks, and you know, Ade and Dr. Dove coming together to actually buy the building?
Man, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's like a dream. It'd be nice if we could buy it all. Whoop,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
And that one time we could, the landlord over here, he told the people, the businesses, he said, you all can buy this property, you know, individually. And it was for the stores, it was going to add up to 750,000. And we had a lady, God bless her, may she rest in peace. Somehow she's had some kind of a control over the guy. He was a Spanish guy, Mr. Manrique, the nicest person you could ever want to meet. And she turned it down.
First of all, 4 or 5 brothers coming together in unity, in harmony, and purchasing property that's in a very cultural area where black people live and black people come over here for all the festivals and events. I mean, it's just really a blessing, because this has always been owned mostly by the Jewish community.
It's very important for us to understand that the progress that's being made in Leimert Park today of business owners coming together and purchasing the property where they reside is without parallel. You know, so much in the past we've had situations like this and opportunities develop. But then there were always individuals or ideas out there that would run contrary to our progress. And the bottom line is, if you're not with the identity of the culture of African people, and that's a collective, community-based culture, each one helping each other, all of us coming together, we are because of we, you know, I think is very important. And I've seen it personally in the past. And that's how we lost this opportunity in the 80s, because petty disagreements, different disputes over frivolous things. So now we have to make sure we pay homage to our ancestors and we go forward with this black ownership, not only on the businesses, but the property, the land, and everything else.
So in many times, in many places, they say when blood's in the water, that's when the sharks eat, right? So we know that black people right now have an opportunity. We've been waiting for this opportunity, so this is our time, right? So we deposit all of that fight, that energy. We deposit that now in the ownership of our community, and we make that happen, and we make it permanent.
And so in this relationship, Akin Development, which is the company I mentioned earlier, the black woman-owned construction and development company, are the partners, and I'm speaking on behalf of it. But the way we're partnered here with Sankofa is truly one where we're we're trying to give the knowledge so that they could take it and keep building. So this project we're building together, right? We're the co-developers on it. We'll bring in capital, raise money, leverage relationships, all of that together. But every single step of the way, you know, Akil, a day, all these gentlemen are right along our side, and they're asking the questions, they're involved, and after this project, I'm certain they'll be able to develop themselves. Like,
what's a way for us to take control of that and take control of our destiny, right? We have to own. And so, me by myself, I'm not able to make that happen. You know, individually, we're not able to make it happen, but collectively, it's something that's very possible to do. So after talking with the brothers, you know, there was talk the building was going up for sale, and that meant if somebody bought it, our rents was gonna go up. Our rent goes up, that means we're gonna be pushed out, you know? And so it was like, well, how about we come together and see if we can make this thing happen? We buy the block and we take control of our destiny. And yes, the rents are gonna go up, but we can make it so that we're not pushed out. At least we know we're working collectively and intentionally about making sure all the businesses that are here are able to stay here.
so folks came into the village. Akil was approached us during the pandemic, and he kind of expressed a small percentage of what he wanted to do. I had no idea it was 100% community driven.
It's important for community-based nonprofits to be involved in the purchase of the building for equity, ownership, and development. And like going forward, that's just how it gotta be. We're not accepting us to be left out anymore. We know what's going on. We've seen it years and years.
From a community perspective, when you think about community land trusts or a nonprofit that's coming together, a co-op coming together to own property versus just a capitalistic organization necessarily, we're talking about a value system here. We're talking about how folks value each other and are committed to a cause, an understanding, and a mission and a goal and a vision. And so, not to say that those capitalist organizations are not, but it won't have the same type of spirit that those type of organizations that we speak of, those nonprofit organizations, those community-based organizations that are dripped in doing good for others beyond yourself.
Well, four of the merchants came together because the guy who owned the building wanted to sell it. They came together so that they could maintain their presence here. And that is amazing. I mean, Mark Bradford and his group owns a lot of the property on across the alley and across the street, and that's black owned. And now these buildings will be. And you know, one of the fears I expressed almost 10 years ago was that, you know, with the subway coming, the Vision Theater, which may eventually get redone. It's been a long time. Only in the black community can things be delayed as long as the Vision Theater has been delayed. But I was a concern. Would we be here? And now it looks like yes, these businesses will be here.
You've given me so much. You've given me so much. Yeah. Many times I'm going through problems. You always tell me to put my head up, keep doing what you're doing. Yeah, they'll figure it out.
But you brought so much here, man. You coming into the neighborhood is wonderful. If you had been here back then,
yes,
then and Anthony and we don't own the property, man.
Yes, I understand. I mean, we wouldn't be able to do this if it wasn't for organizations that understand what you've told us and realize that it hasn't been fair. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so now to kind of bridge the gap, they're giving us funding so we can actually have a fight for this problem.
We're in an opportunity zone, and there's a lot of financial whales that come in and swallow up a lot of these opportunities because they become tax shelters for them. So it makes it harder for the people that are actually embedded in the neighborhood to really benefit or have a real ownership. So, overall, it makes me feel, it's sad to know that it takes certain things like us being murdered at the hands of the police to bring about that type of change. But it's also exciting to know that there's a day and age where on both sides, brothers are activated now or inspired to collectivize and come together to put pressure on these organizations in order to do that, to redistribute the funds. And then on the other side, there seems to be a corporate mentality, or that's kind of spreading nowadays, where you have to do something for a community or a contingency of people that have been disenfranchised historically. So,
Right.
Yeah, it's beautiful, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's hopefully I pray that it happens.
Yeah, it's gonna happen, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. No doubt.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. Yeah.
Yeah.